Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are considered the best duo in NBA history. It's not worth arguing about it. You just have to look at their 6 rings, 0 finals losses, and 2 three-peats to end the argument. It's very hard to win one championship. It's rare to win back-to-back, and it's next to impossible to win 3 straight and do it twice. Only a handful of teams have won 3 straight championships, and the Bulls have done it twice. Whenever you saw Michael Jordan winning, you saw Scottie Pippen. Through all the growing pains and championships, we saw them together. Pippen was at Jordan's side every time, and Jordan never failed to give him credit every time he got the chance.
87 Finals MVP.
Michael, you're named MVP, but as you accepted the trophy, you said to Scottie that he was your MVP.
Scottie Pippen we're a tandem. It's hard to split us up. He means a lot to me when I go out and play on the basketball court. He relieves a lot of the pressure that I have to deal with. I try to do the same for him. It's hard to take this MVP by myself. He's got to take half of it. I take the trophy, he may get the call.
I got so many people I can thank. In all the videos, you never just saw me. You saw Scottie Pippen. Every championship I won.
There are many legendary beefs in the NBA that resulted in teammates parting ways, but it will never be bigger than this one. Scottie Pippen v. Michael Jordan? Never in our lifetime we thought we'd ever see that. But here we are now. Scottie, in the midst of seemingly a midlife crisis, is attacking Michael left and right, which left many people, including NBA legends, dumbfounded.
Scottie Pippen has been going at Jordan, saying that he didn't win any rings until Scottie showed up and everything else like that. And you actually defended Jordan with these comments. I mean, when you see Scottie saying stuff like that, what do you think? As someone who played against both.
When I hear him saying, I'm saying to myself, what's really going on with Scottie? Because anybody know basketball, like, you don't win those rings without Jordan. Yeah, does Jordan win 6 rings without Scottie? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you don't even get in that position without MJ.
I know Scottie. I don't know him nearly. Well, obviously I know Michael well. Mm-hmm. But with Scottie, I don't know Scottie that well. I don't. But he's always been very pleasant, very nice to me. And as I say, I admired him tremendously as a player. Mm-hmm. He got better every year. He wasn't somebody that just fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. He was a really good player. And whatever happens in relationships, and when particularly if you look at a team, and you would think that those guys like that would have the most special relationship in the world.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
In 1987, Scottie Pippen was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics and was traded for Olden Polynice to the Chicago Bulls on draft night. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan was already in his 3rd year in the league and was beginning to enter the prime years of his career, averaging 31.7 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.6 steals, and 1.2 blocks per game. Pippen came to the Bulls as a relative unknown from Central Arkansas. He was long and athletic, but far from a finished product. He was like a young colt who couldn't get his legs under him until Jordan took him under his wings. Slowly but surely, Pippen developed into a versatile point forward that can wreak havoc on defense and offense. Together, he and Jordan formed a formidable duo that took the league by storm. Slowly but surely, Jordan and Pippen, along with the young Bulls, climbed the mountaintop until they reached the apex in 1991, winning their first ever championship. During those times, their friendship has developed and ultimately evolved into a brotherhood. The relationship that we established in the late 80s, playing against the Pistons, just starting to grow and mature and having each other's backs. We grew up together and we defended each other. That respect we had on the court, that competitiveness we took through to the top, it was special. That was the respect we had for each other because we had to be on the court to do what we did. We had to be dominant. Pippen said in one interview, "Together, The duo won another 5 titles, completing 2 three-peats that had only been done twice in NBA history. They also won a record-breaking 72 games in the 1995-96 season and have multiple All-Star, All-Defensive, and All-NBA first-team selections under their belts. Their bond seemed well intact way into their retirements, with both complimenting each other in their own Hall of Fame speeches. They were seen at games or social events together, indicating that their partnership and friendship remained stronger than ever through the years. With all of their achievements and greatness that they've done together, nobody thought Jordan and Pippen's friendship and brotherhood would end. Especially this way. So, what went wrong? People thought that it all started after the release of the Emmy Award-winning ESPN documentary The Last Dance, which chronicled the Bulls' 1997-98 championship season. Scottie was not happy with how he was portrayed in the documentary and thought that the show focused heavily on Jordan's personal story. In turn, Jordan called Pippen to apologize and to smooth things over. But Jordan's son, Marcus, intimated that it all started long before The Last Dance. It all made sense now. You don't end that kind of a relationship because of a documentary. Especially if that documentary only showed actual facts that happened 25 years ago. There were telling signs from time to time, but it was so small that nobody noticed or cared to notice it at all. Like the time when Pippen chose LeBron James as the greatest of all time over Jordan.
Scottie Pippen! You would know better than anyone. How close is LeBron to catching Jordan?
The numbers don't lie. He's right there. He probably will never catch him in terms of MVP.
Okay.
But in terms of statistics, LeBron is right there. And when you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds, he's probably ahead of Jordan.
Oh my God!
What?
I just want to throw this water on you.
Or when Pippen said on the Waddle and Sylvie show on ESPN 1000 Chicago that he was more responsible for the Bulls' 6 championships than Jordan. Or when noted Bulls writer and the Jordan Rules author Sam Smith got so flabbergasted on Pippen during an All-Star game some years back when Pippen said that more teams would have wanted him on their teams instead of Jordan because he could do so many more things. The signs were already there, but nobody cared because it was Michael and Scottie. Because it was unthinkable. But The Last Dance just exposed what Scottie was feeling towards Michael all along. Jealousy. But what could possibly be the reasons for Pippen's jealousy towards Jordan? 3 things. Number 1, being forever identified as the glorified Robin to Jordan's Batman. Michael was and will always be the bigger star. The center of the basketball universe. Scottie knew that all along when he came to the Bulls. He will never be number 1 as long as Michael is playing beside him. Think of a younger sibling who looked up to his older brother. He was always better than him, no matter what he did. He did better in school, was the star athlete, got all the girls, and every teacher compared them to one another in class. You would probably be jealous too, wouldn't you? Well, that's Scottie for you. But he had the chance to show and prove to the world that he was a bona fide number 1 when Michael left in '93, but he fell short. Twice. To make matters worse, he showed everyone that he could never be the leader that Jordan was when he refused to enter the last seconds of Game 3 of the Bulls-Knicks semifinals in 1994 just because Phil Jackson drew the last play for Tony Kukoc. Kukoc won the game, but the Bulls have lost the series. In the following year, the Bulls got much worse. Losing Horace Grant was a big blow to the team. It took Michael Jordan's return in the waning days of the season to be able for the Bulls to qualify for the playoffs. He wanted to be like Mike, but he couldn't. Number 2, his earnings. Pippen's contract situation with the Bulls was one of the major highlights in The Last Dance. In fact, people were so horrified after finding out how Scottie, one of the greatest to ever play, was severely underpaid by the Bulls. Was it unfair? Of course, it was. Being one of the top NBA players at the time, Scottie also deserved to be on the list of the highest paid players. But whose fault was it that he wasn't on that list? Earlier in his career, when Pippen was worried about a bad back, he signed a 7-year, $18 million contract for security reasons. He accepted the Bulls' offer on his own, even going against the advice of his own agents and Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf himself to not accept the offer because he wouldn't be happy with it down the line.
Scottie Pippen signed a deal in 1991. Recall the terms of that deal?
I don't recall the terms, but I do recall that it was a longer contract than I thought was smart for him. I said to Scottie the same thing I'd said to Michael. If I were you, I wouldn't sign this contract. You may be selling yourself too short. It's too long a contract that you're locking yourself in for.
He chose the sure thing, failing to bet on himself and spot the sign of the times that the NBA was about to experience a major explosion in popularity. Thus, player salaries automatically will follow suit. And that's exactly what happened. The league posted record numbers across the board and generated historic ratings, especially in the NBA Finals, where the Bulls were always the major attraction. People saw players sign huge contracts, and these all took place throughout Pippen's contract, and as the years passed and he remained healthy and productive, Pippen began to understand the massive opportunity he'd surrendered by signing so early. Jordan's $33.1 million salary for the 1997-98 season was nearly 12 times larger than Pippen's, which sat below $2.8 million. During that time, Pippen regularly cried to the media about how he was taken advantage of by the Bulls and wanted to renegotiate. It led to him demanding a trade from the team at the start of the 1997-98 season.
Well, it's not to the point that I want to, slap a shot back at management in any way. I'm not going to say that, I'm going to put one on. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be put in the situation where I'm going to be forced to put one on, but I'm not going to play there anymore. And that's that. And I have that freedom and I have that right to do that.
Pippen showed no honor by doing that. He accepted the contract and cried when it didn't work out in his favor. Fools rush in. Meanwhile, the greatest player on the planet, the one responsible for bringing the big bucks for the Bulls and the entire NBA, never complained about the 7-year, $25 million contract he signed in 1988. Instead, Michael played out and honored all of his existing contracts before signing 2 record-breaking 1-year deals in 1996-97 and 1997-98 seasons. Pippen actually ended up accumulating higher career earnings than Jordan when all was said and done. Pippen earned a total of $109.9 million in total NBA earnings compared to Jordan's $93.29 million. Number 3. What Jordan has built. Everybody in the world knows that Michael Jordan was the main reason why Nike is what it is today. From a fledgling shoe company in 1984 to a behemoth and money-making machine today. Nike forecasted the Air Jordan 1 sales to reach $3 million in its 4th year. Instead, it generated $126 million in its very first year. Today, the Jordan brand is generating $3 million in sales for Nike every 5 hours. Last year, the Jordan brand reportedly earned $6.6 billion in gross revenue, earning Jordan $330 million due to his 5% royalty. Pippen, on the other hand, could have built his very own business empire even if it didn't become as big as Jordan's. He was the number 2 guy in probably the greatest and most popular team in NBA history, but he failed to take advantage of that fact. He failed to surround himself with the right people to market himself the right way and prepare himself for life after basketball. To build something that can endure the way Jordan, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and many others did after their basketball careers were over. To make matters worse, he almost blew his entire career earnings by making bad investments like his famous investment in a private jet that almost took him under. The NBA swingman sought restitution from a firm that he claims owes him at least $8 million after misguiding him on investments. In a separate financial blunder, Scottie lost a $3.5 million investment in a South Side real estate deal. He ended up losing $27 million due to these bad investments. Number 4. Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen's relationship. MJ's son Marcus and Scottie's ex-wife Larsa are currently dating. Of course, this could be one of the major reasons why Pippen has been attacking Jordan nowadays. But Michael already expressed his disapproval of the relationship for the obvious reason.
Michael Jordan does not approve of his son dating his former teammate / rival's ex-wife, Larsa Pippen. So, Michael Jordan was out in France, and he's leaving, he's headed to his car, and somebody screams to him, Michael, do you approve of your son Marcus dating Larsa Pippen? And he kept it short and sweet. No.
Whatever is going on between Jordan's son and Pippen's ex-wife, it's a no-brainer that Michael had no control and got nothing to do with it. It seems that Pippen was always jealous of what Jordan had and what he didn't, of what Michael has built and what he hasn't. But that jealousy will never be justified no matter how many times Scottie played the victim card in the media. He was given a chance to lead and be the #1 guy, but failed to do so. He had all the opportunity in the world to earn and build something that could resemble even half of what Jordan had earned and built, but he came up short. He was not as business savvy as Jordan, that's why he failed to surround himself with people to compensate for that flaw. As Charles Barkley, Dan Patrick, and Sylvie Silverman of the Waddle and Sylvie Show eloquently said about Pippen.
There's the Last Dance documentary that it still seems like that's bothering Scottie Pippen. What did you make of Scottie's comments when he was on with me earlier in the week?
You know, I'm disappointed in Scottie because he's burning every bridge. I know he has a book coming out. Listen, Scottie was a very good player. I've always liked Scottie too. I've always liked him. I've never had a disagreement or an argument with him, but he's taking shots at me. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, yo, man, you do know we're like 60 years old. We don't have beefs anymore. We're like 60. What we accomplished was 30 years ago. It's not important or significant. It was great in the day, but now it's irrelevant. So I was disappointed he's taking shots at Michael, Phil Jackson, and myself. But I understand he's got a book coming out. And I just think it's silly and stupid, to be honest with you. Listen, hey, we know you got a book coming out. Stop trying to make, take shots at big fish. He's big game hunting. You come out to myself, you come out to Mike, you come out to Phil Jackson. Hey, we know you got a book coming out. But it really just makes you look stupid and silly in the long run, to be honest with you.
Yeah. When did you realize that what you were going to talk about on Monday was going to change after the interview with Scottie Pippen?
Right after your interview was done, we obviously were on this. As you joked yesterday, Dan, this is a gift to Chicago sports radio. And so we thank you for that personally. Friday, we were all over it too. A lot of the times I've defended Scottie. I have fought for years on ESPN 1000 about Scottie getting his due. That Scottie not being just a top 50 player, but being a top 30 player. Scottie being a revolutionary player. And then now all of a sudden, I felt like a scorned lover. Yeah.
But he believes what he's saying, but nobody believes him.
Right. And it's kind of like a buddy, Dan. We all have him. We all know him. That he says, oh, this person in my life sucks. This person in my life is not loyal. This person in my life isn't good for business. Well, maybe if you've got all these people who are bad, maybe it's you. But now Scottie thinks that Michael's selfish and that Phil was a racist. Who's left standing? And maybe it's Scottie that's the issue here. And I think it's sad. I really he wants to sell bourbon and he wants to sell books, but I just don't think that's a reason to go and ruin the relationships of one of the greatest teams of all time.
Pippen only got himself to blame and no one else.